And it is so good to see you all. I am so glad you all are here. So I am just checking my technology. So look, I have a great show planned tonight. I have a special guest speaker, me. I flew myself in all the way from downstairs. So look, I want to talk today to all my parents of college bound students, whether your students are still in high school or maybe they're in middle school. We're going to talk about some things that you should consider as you consider which school to send your students to. But most importantly, we're going to focus on financing and financing education, things that we should consider before assuming a lot of student debt. So, look, this is going to be a powerful and informative discussion. So share this link with someone. If you know someone who has recently graduated, if you know someone who is a rising sophomore, rising junior in high school, then by all means, share this link with them. Let them know that we're talking about something important tonight. We're talking about money, investing in your education. So look, share this link with someone and come right back. Well, welcome back. That was quick. So look, I am just trying to check in on Facebook, make sure everything is okay so that we can go ahead and get started. And we are almost there. There I am. There we are. Okay, very good. All righty. I'm just posting something. And I'm good. Okay. So look, we're going to talk about money tonight. We're going to talk about, some things to consider, especially when we start talking about debt, student debt, and financing post-secondary education. And we know that in America today that public education is free. Public education, K-12 education is free and it is a right for everyone. But going to college isn't necessarily a right here in America. And it's definitely not cheap. Now, there are ways that it can be less expensive, but it is definitely not cheap. So I made a quick little PowerPoint, so I'm going to share my slides with you. So let's share the screen and let's just have an open dialogue. I'll try to keep my eyes on Facebook and see if there are any comments that are being made. I'm going to view on Facebook. Yes. Oh, that's the other thing. One more thing on Facebook. Let me fix one thing. See if I can open it up for the public. Alrighty, so I just opened it up for the public so anybody can log in and join our discussion. So, educational investments, things that we need to consider. See, I got comfortable, right? Things that we should consider, especially when families are considering taking out student loans on behalf of their students. So, let's keep moving. So, some of the things we'll talk about tonight, and I promise I won't be long, but we're going to talk about return on investment and what that looks like in education. Because we know that education is an investment, but where's the return? And what are the guarantees of that return? We're going to talk about majors, college majors. We're going to talk about affordability, why you must finish, especially if you assume a student loan. And then we'll talk about some educational options. And then guess what? I have a special announcement at the end of the show. I am so stinking excited about this announcement that I have. But look, let's just keep moving. So, return on investment and how does it apply to education? Is it just about the money? And I'm going to say no. Education is not just about the money. There is a theory, it's a human capital theory, that suggests that improving a person's mental and physical abilities impacts a lot of things. It improves their opportunities for income. It improves their opportunities for preferences, meaning they have options, meaning they have choices. They don't have to take that job because they can take this job over here because they have the education that says that I have options. And then lastly, it promotes well-being. And I won't even say lastly, but those are the three main points about the human capital theory, which relates to the return on investment. So what is the return on investment? You spend these thousands upon thousands of dollars so that your student can attend college. And what is the return? The return is that they improve their opportunities. They improve, more doors can open for them. Now it's up to them to get through the door, but more doors can open for them. In addition to that, it does increase preferences, meaning they have choices, they have options. And then it also promotes overall well-being. They're more likely to have health insurance. They're more likely to live in better neighborhoods wherein they have better food options and better, just a healthier environment because they completed their education. So majors matter. Bottom line, we have to understand that today, in today's economy, majors matter. What you major in matters. It truly does. You have things that parents and families and students need to consider are, is this degree workforce ready? And what do I mean by that? I mean, when you graduate with that 4-year degree, what did that degree prepare you to do? Do you have a skill set to go along with the theory that you've learned in 4 years in college? Is this degree workforce ready? You will find that degrees that are workforce ready are those degrees that pay higher. So what do I mean by that? When you look at nursing, that's a skill set. It's theory and skills blended together. When you look at a lot of the STEM fields, when I say STEM, I'm talking about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Career majors in those areas prepare students for, well, some of them prepare students for the workforce, especially when you're looking at engineering, when you're looking at technology degrees. Those degrees prepare students to enter the workforce. Does the degree require, things that you should consider are, does the degree require graduate level coursework? Because there are some degrees that don't necessarily prepare you for a particular job. However, 2 more years in a master's program, and now you are well prepared for a job. I think about majors like political science, sociology, psychology, generally history. Generally, when you major in those subjects, you have in your mind that I'm going on the 2 extra years for a master's degree so that you can specialize in a particular area or a particular field in psychology. In psychology, as a matter of fact, a lot of people, I've heard people say, oh, you don't need to major in psychology anymore. And I would, now, and I have said it in the past, but I tend to disagree with that now because there are so many fields of psychology that are so needed today. We have industrial psychology, and that's the psychology that's in the workplace. You have in the workplace and examining the behaviors in the workplace. And, definitely we need that more now than ever before. In addition to that, human factors. That's an area in psychology that blends a lot of psychology with science. And they're studying how people interact with technology. So there's so many different fields, but again, generally it does require that you move on from the 4 year degree to an additional 2 years for that graduate degree. There are even some degrees in science, like majoring in biological health science will also mean that you have to go on to a master's program so that you will be workforce ready. Looking at back at the PowerPoint, what are your long-term career plans? These are things that you are considering when you are selecting a college, but when you are determining how much debt you want to assume for an undergraduate degree. Okay, if you are in a situation where you are going to need loans to finance your undergraduate degree, these are the questions you need to ask because this is going to help you determine how much debt should I assume for this particular degree. So again, is the degree workforce ready? Meaning, I'll end up with all this debt from college, but can I get a job to pay back my student loans? That's the question. That's the $1 million question. Does the degree require graduate level coursework? Okay, if it does, that means instead of financing 4 years of education, you now have to think about six. And what is the long term plan? Again, what is the long term career goal? What are your goals? What are your plans? Current studies are definitely showing that more programs and when I say programs, I'm talking about college majors, are embedding certificates into their degrees now, which is a wonderful thing, which means that students, if they take, for an elective, they're taking an extra lab class or they're taking an extra technology class, along with their core major courses, then they end up with a certification, and that certification goes with them. Now they appear to be more workforce ready. So this is a new trend that we're watching. I definitely still see it on the the community college or the state college levels, and I know that universities are trying to explore a little bit more on how to embed these certificates into these degree plans. So this is something you want to watch for. You want to see if there are any certificates, technical certificates that align with your degree, because you will be able to put both on your resume. You'll be able to put your degree that, I graduated from XX university, but I also received a technical certificate. I also received a workforce certificate. So these are good things. So when we're talking about school selection, we're going to talk about affordability. Is this school affordable? Can we fit in? And one thing that we have to understand that parents never, I don't think parents really, really plan for, because we're so, caught up and focused on tuition, books, room and board. Tuition, books, room, food. That's all we're focused on. But there is so much more to college life and going to college than just paying tuition. It really is. And that's where the students develop those soft skills, though that ability to network and connect with other people. Now, it is true. Some students get, really focused on that and lose sight of education. But, we bring them on back. But there is more to college life than just going to class. There's student engagement. There's volunteer work. There's sports. There are clubs. You have friends. Now, I am a part of a college parents group on Facebook. And one thing that we all talk about, we laugh about, and we cry about is how much money our kids are spending on food. It's like these kids go to college and they act like they've never seen a restaurant before, and they decide that they have to go to all the restaurants every month. All the restaurants in the area every month. Kids spend so much money on food, our college kids. And this is even kids with meal plans and good food on campus. The food doesn't taste like it did when I was in college. Okay, these kids have full meals. They have vegan. They have different, all kind of selections, all kind of options for food, and they still go out to eat and spend just ridiculous amounts of money on food. Now, trust me, if there's anything that parents say that they were not prepared for when they sent their child to college, it's the amount of money that they spend on food. I promise you. So please take note. All right, career exploration. This is, part of the college life. This is what they're doing. They get a chance to travel. They get to go home with roommates. They get to go to games out of town and all kind of things. Participate in various events on campus. Clothing. Sometimes you're from the South and you send your students up north. Well, they need a whole different wardrobe. They just, and upkeep, personal upkeep. That stuff is expensive, especially when you're talking about your students who are going to a school out of state and out of town. So you don't have the hookup anymore. You don't have that connection anymore. So those things get expensive. And, college is supposed to be about sacrifice, but not today, not these kids. They want to go to college. They want to, live the life. They want to get their education, but they are not sacrificing. They do not eat ramen noodles like we did when I was in college. Not unless it's at some chic little ramen noodle restaurants in a high end strip mall. These kids are, I'm telling you, they're living their best lives nowadays. But all that to say, this is in addition to tuition, room and board, and tuition, room and board, and books. This is in addition to that. So these are things that you have to take into consideration. And so I have some pictures over here of, young people in college. This is what college is about. It definitely is. And then, of course, there's Greek life. So, where a lot of students participate. All that stuff costs lots of money. So how do we afford all of this? There are different ways. You have your personal investment accounts. For parents who have younger kids, I definitely recommend the 529 plans. Your state generally has some type of scholarship savings program available. And sometimes it's linked to your lottery, your state lottery. In the state of Florida, we do have an investment plan, and it's called Florida Prepaid, and it's an opportunity to lock in tuition right now at today's rate for your student who may not attend college for 5, 10, 15 years from now. And they have all kinds of payment plans. You can pay for a 4-year college plan. You can pay it over 18 years, or you can pay it over 5 years. Or if you can't, just write that check and pay it off at one time. And then that money will sit in the state's account. They get the interest, but in the long run, it's still an incredible investment because when your child goes to school, they are paying tuition at the rate it was when you first purchased the plan. And that's a great thing. I did that for my daughter. I did the 5-year plan, paid it off. And so when she started college, I am just, and she came back and she's in school in state. I mean, the tuition is 50%. It's only 50%. I pay 50% of the tuition. It's a wonderful plan. It's a wonderful plan. So look, personal investment accounts. Check out your 529 plans. In addition to that, there's institutional aid. I hear a lot of students say, oh, I can't afford college because my parents make too much money, but not enough to send me off to college. I hear that all the time. So they say they're not going to apply for financial aid. No, you absolutely apply for financial aid because financial aid isn't just the federal aid, it's also state aid and it is aid from the institution itself. And you have to remember, there are people whose job it is to contact alumni and get alumni to donate. Many institutions, many universities, especially your private universities, have large endowments for students just like you. So please do not think that just because your parents make X amount of money that you can't go to college because there are still funds that are available. So there's institutional aid and it's based on merit, which is based on your grades. Sometimes it's based on sports. Sometimes it's just based on interest. It can be interest based. You could be, someone who likes to go bowling, and somebody somewhere has donated money for students who like to bowl in their spare time. Somebody has. Somebody, I promise you. So then there's federal aid. There is federal financial aid, and that is income based. And the federal government has provided federal aid. All of that is free of charge for students, and it is income based, so it's based on your parents' income. Or if you are going back to school yourself, it's based on your income. Then there's the community and academic opportunities throughout the community. The community have all kind of opportunities that and organizations who just give money to high school students who are on their way to college. There are national and local businesses that donate, as well as community organizations. You'd be surprised. Your grocery store, your local banks, your credit unions, all of these organizations generally have some type of scholarship fund available. So by all means, do not forsake and do not ask your local businesses, do you guys have a scholarship fund? Because many of them do, especially your grocery stores and your banks, they definitely do have all kind of scholarship funds. In addition to that, many organizations have tuition reimbursement. So many companies will reimburse you for your tuition and reimburse you for your kids going to school. Some companies do. And then, of course, you have your student loans. Now, you have to remember loans are just that. They are loans, and it means you have to pay them back. So you have subsidized, which of course you don't have interest on those while you're in school. And then you have unsubsidized who will continue to charge interest even though you're in school. Now, the beauty about loans is that you don't have to pay them back as soon as you get them. The federal student loans, you don't have to pay them back as soon as you get them. They generally allow you time to graduate from college or finish college or stop going to college, which is not a good choice once you have a loan. But they give you 6 months after that to start making your payments. And there are Parent Plus loans, and then there are bank loans, and all of them have fees and they must be paid back. So again, we're talking about specifically about how much debt do you really want to incur for an undergraduate degree? Because if you spend a whole lot of money on undergraduate degrees and you still have a graduate degree program to go, that's going to be a lot of debt. So you want to explore your options. So I'm just giving you, I'm not saying what's right, I'm not saying what's wrong. I'm just saying these are things that you want to think about as a family as you're trying to decide how to finance and get your student through school. Now, once you have a student loan, you definitely want to finish college. And why is that? Because the research show that in general, students who drop out of college have lower earnings than their peers who went to college. They have a higher unemployment rate than their peers that went to college and finished. And they have a greater likelihood of defaulting on their student loans. So that's it. Do we have any comments or any questions or anything so far? Just hit me on Facebook. Okay, okay. Hey, Auntie. I see my auntie is watching. Hey, Auntie. All righty. So, some educational options. Of course, there are public and private colleges and universities. And of course, your private schools are a lot more expensive than the public schools. And the public schools are generally funded by the federal and state governments. Therefore, they'll have more hoops that you have to jump through in order to receive financial aid because they are being audited by the federal government. And public and private schools generally offer liberal arts education, which of course is your history, science, math, all the regular courses. They offer undergraduate degrees and graduate degrees, graduate and doctorate degrees. Your community colleges also offer liberal arts education, which generally will transfer over to your public and private colleges and universities. Community colleges generally have 2+2 plans, which means you finish 2 years here, then you can transfer to the university with a guaranteed 2 years, as long as you're taking all the right course, but 2 more years to finish your bachelor's degree. In addition to that, community college offers workforce education. They offer career and technical certificate and adult education GED programs. And then, of course, there are the trade programs. And in your trade programs, and they're offered, through a lot of private organizations and oftentimes private and for-profit organizations, they offer your workforce education and your career and technical certificates. All righty. So, want to remind you the true purpose of education. The true purpose of education is twofold. Education should, one, teach us how to make a living, and two, teach us how to live. And when the author, James T. Adams, wrote this, it is my thought that when he talked about teaching us how to live, it has to do with how we interact and how we agree and agree to disagree with one another. All of that is a part of the educational process. So, with that, that's it. Those are some of the things that I think are vitally important that families really need to think about when they are considering, how to finance post-secondary education for their young people. The return on investment. It has to do not just with the ability to get a job, but that ability to impact lives, to get along well with others, to the opportunity to have options. I mean, having options, who wants to go into the closet and there's only one pair of shoes? No, you want to have some of my friends. I have one friend, she has 90 pair of shoes. So, she has plenty of options. But the point is that we want to have options. We want to have options in life. So that's the return on investment, is that education often gives you options. Your majors matter because the reality is that 25% of the degrees that are awarded have no impact on increased revenue, meaning that there are students who graduate from college in some areas, like you can get a degree in some particular fields, and you really can't find a job. And it's no different than someone who did not go to college. And they're finding that 25% of students who are graduating are falling into that category. This is why I said that degrees matter. You want to find degrees that prepare you for the workforce or have some type of certification embedded in the program. We talked about affordability and that remembering that going to college is not just paying tuition, paying for room and board, and paying for books. There's a life. Young people want to experience the full college experience. We talked about why you must finish and various options. And that's it for tonight. We're right at 30 minutes. So I do have a very special announcement. I do. I have been working on this for a long, long time. and well, several months. And I am so excited, and I'm going to share this with you now. So, I've always wanted to do something special for women, especially career minded women who are, trying to make a difference. And, as a woman in higher education and administration, I know the heartaches, I know the struggles, I've seen it all, I truly have. And it's hard. It's hard sometimes. And sometimes it is a true struggle. So I wanted to create a platform where women could be encouraged, where women could receive some type of motivation. So I have it. I'm so excited. So I'm going to present the world premiere of my new platform. You ready? You ready? All right. Now, please tell me you saw that. Were you able to see that? Because I think so. I think you were able to see it. Okay. Yay! Did you see it? Did you see it? And it's called Fight to Smile. Fight to Smile. That's a new platform that I have created. And the whole idea, the premise behind Fight to Smile is that women should be encouraged and know that they are rooted and grounded. Because I want to show you my image. Let's see if I can pull up this image. Let's see if I can take myself down and pull up. Okay, I think you saw the lady, but she is rooted, her neck is a tree, and she is rooted and firmly grounded in what she believes. Her head is held high. She's looking ahead, she's looking forward. And even though there's struggle, even though there's hurt, there's pain, there's disappointment, she's still smiling. She fights to smile. So look, I want you to join me on Instagram, on my Instagram page, on my Facebook page, and it's called Fight to Smile. Fight to Smile. Go there now, like my page, join my page, and eventually, really soon, you're going to see my website. You're going to see products. You're going to see the online store. We're going to have our own clothing, ladies. No more unisex t-shirts. We're going to have our own that fits our own bodies, our curves, and not the unisex square that we're trying to fit and make work. These shirts are going to be for us. So I am so excited. Thank you all for joining tonight. Thank you for watching the live stream. And we're going to end with Fight to Smile one more time. And thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, please comment, send me an email. I'm at Dr. Naita at drnaita.com or visit my website at www.drnaita.com.